Hello, everyone. Happy New Year 2023. This is my first recording in the new year. Today, I'm going to show you how to enable OpenShift container backups in about 3 minutes on IBM Cloud. The same instructions can be used for any other Kubernetes OpenShift cluster, either on-premises or from other cloud. My name is Yongkang He. Glad to be here to talk about this today. And I'm also very excited to be fully certified on Kubernetes, plus the top 5 public cloud certified. Let's get started. If you don't have an OpenShift cluster yet, we need to create an OpenShift cluster first. Here is a few links. You can follow me to learn how to create a ROKS cluster on IBM Cloud, how to create a ROSA cluster on AWS Cloud, how to create an ARO cluster on Azure Cloud. So Red Hat OpenShift Data Foundation is commonly used by Red Hat OpenShift customers, but there is a new name just to be aware. In the next new release, it will be renamed as IBM Spectrum Fusion. So how to enable OpenShift container backups via CloudCasa? It's one of the best Kubernetes backup as a service tool. A couple of steps. If you don't have an account, obviously you need to sign up an account with CloudCasa, and then what you need to do is just register your OpenShift cluster with the CloudCasa web console. And after, you just go ahead, create a policy. The policy does basically include how often you want to schedule the job, how long you want to keep. And last but not least, you can go ahead, define a backup. What do you want to back up? How you're going to back them up, and which policy you're going to attach to, etc. If you already have an account, you already have a backup policy configured. Basically, you just need 2 steps. You register your OpenShift cluster, and then you started to define a backup for your OpenShift containers. So I'm going to give you a live demo to show you how to sign up a trial account, how to register your OpenShift cluster, how to create a policy, how to define a backup, how to do the restore. Okay, let me jump to the web console. So for my situation, I love IBM Cloud. I love OpenShift. So I created my OpenShift cluster actually from IBM Cloud. It's a 4-node Red Hat OpenShift cluster. Right now, it's running the latest version 4.11. It is based on 1.24, I believe. And it is running from the Sydney region. And if you want to check from the OpenShift console, web console, you can see I got a 4-node cluster. It was created about one hour ago. And since it's running from IBM Cloud, if you want to have the terminal access, you can log into IBM Cloud Shell. You can run the command, OC command, to check your node status, to check the namespace. The namespace, which I'm going to as a backup testing, it's called Yong-PostgreSQL. I use PostgreSQL as a sample database for the backup and the restore testing. Okay, so first of all, you need to log into CloudCasa web console. If you don't have an account, you can simply sign up a new trial account. It comes with the free offerings. You do have the free backup up to 100 gigabytes, regardless of how many worker nodes, how many clusters you are running. All you need to do is provide the email, your password, your first name, last name, company name, job title, and then click accept. And you also need to tick the box, I'm not a robot, click sign up. Once you sign up, you will receive an email, just verify, click verify from the email, then you can log into the web console. So once you log into the web console, this is the first time. If it's the first time you log into the dashboard, you will see this dashboard. So you can see your job status, how many clusters you have, how many cloud providers. Yeah, listed here, you might notice right now they only list the top 3 cloud providers. For any other Kubernetes cluster or OpenShift, it's not listed from the cloud providers, but it can be added to the to the Kubernetes, to the CloudCasa web console. So how to register OpenShift cluster? It's on the configurations. From configurations on the clusters, if I click a cluster, so you might have noticed I already have some other clusters listed here, but that's not our focus today. What I need to do is add a cluster. I give a name. I might try to match the name which I was using from when I created the cluster. It's called YHE-OCP for Yongkang-IBM. And click register. So once you click register, you basically will be provided a command to run from the terminal. And then you just copy the command and then run from the terminal. So this is a command. So I'm going to copy this command. I come back to the Cloud Shell. I'm going to run this command and press enter. So once you run this command, basically, we will create a namespace. We will create a service account. We will create a cluster rule binding and then install deployment. So the deployment is called CloudCasa Kube Agent Manager. If you run the OC, get port, if you're going to watch the namespace, you can see what's happening here. So we just installed the ports. It's called CloudCasa Kube Agent Manager. And then after the manager is up running, it's going to spin up the Kube agent, the lightweight Kube agent, to allow the cluster to talk to CloudCasa, the control plane. So this is a major difference comparing to other backup Kubernetes backup vendor. CloudCasa is the managed service. That means you don't have to manage the data protection and control plane. It's all managed by CloudCasa. It's running from the cloud. So you just need to run the lightweight agent. It's called a Kube agent from your Kubernetes cluster. You need to have the outbound access to CloudCasa via the port 443. There is no requirements for the inbound access. So once the agent is up running shortly, hopefully just 1 minute or two, it will be up running. And then if you go back to the web console, you will see the cluster is active. And then you can start to create a policy, define a backup. So let me wait this job finish. So hopefully it shouldn't be long. Yeah, right now a port is initializing. So shortly it will be becoming running status. Okay, the Kube agent now it is up running. It took 2 minutes and 2 seconds. And go back to the CloudCasa web console. You can see the installation is successful, and you can click cancel, close, and click save. So now you can see the only cluster I have, it is up running. In active status, it's called YHE-OCP for Yongkang-IBM. Now, I already registered the cluster. The next step is you need to create a policy. Where is a policy? It's on the configurations, policies. So I already have 2 policies configured. If you want to create a new policy, I'm going to show you right now. Add a policy. It will ask you to give a policy name, and then you define how often you want to do the snapshot backup and how long you want to keep. So by default here, for example, my hourly, you might want to repeat the job every hour. You want to keep 30 days, for example. You can add additional schedules if you want to choose to. I'm going to cancel this one for now. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's straightforward. And I already have 2 policy configured here. One is pretty simple to run every hour and it keeps 3 days. The second one is more comprehensive. Not only running hourly job, and I also have the daily, weekly, monthly job configured. So once I define create the policy, I can go ahead to define a backup. So if I go to the dashboard, so right now I can define a backup. So click define a backup. What I'm going to call it is a ROKS snap and copy. So that means I'm actually at a PG. So PostgreSQL running on IBM ROKS, Red Hat OpenShift Kubernetes service on IBM Cloud, short as ROKS. So I got a PostgreSQL application. I want to do snapshot, and I also do this copy. So once the snapshot finish, I will copy to and manage the object storage. So which cluster you're going to apply the backup to? So this is a cluster. I'm going to define the backup. Click next. You want to backup the whole cluster, or you just want to backup the select namespace. So for my case, I just want to backup the namespace. It's called Yong-PostgreSQL. I select this particular namespace, and there are some additional settings, like do you want to include in the persistent volume? Obviously, I want to include the persistent volume. Do you want to do snapshot only? I always recommend to do snapshot plus a copy. And I also recommend to always keep to do not delete the snapshot after copy. So you do need a local copy for the fast recovery. So once you make all of these selections, click next. And you can choose to run on demand. Basically, you just manually to run the job, or you can attach to the policy, which I predefined. So for now, let me choose my existing policy, say I want to run the job every hour. And then click next, and everything is done, and click create. So after I create the policy, you will see the backup job will be automatically scheduled based on my policy configuration, which will be running every hour. But if you don't want to wait the next scheduled job, you actually can click run now. If I click run now, you got the option to say how often you want to, you can customize the retention. By default, it's 7 days. My original schedule is configured for 3 days, but this is customizable. It's on demand. I just keep 7 days, click run now. After I click run the job, shortly it will appear under activities. You can see ROKS PG snap copy, it's running. If I click the job details, so you can see you have more insights to see what's happening. So click activity log, you can see we initiated the copy process. We're running snapshot before copy, and we're going to create a temporary credential and then started to run the snapshot job. So this might take about 2 or maybe 3 minutes. Let's see. Why the job is running, let me come back to the slide deck. So we just did the 4 tasks: how to sign up a trial account, how to register OCP cluster, how to create a policy, how to define job. And after the job is completed, I can show you how to restore the containers. So you can do full restore, you can do clone to a new namespace, you can do granular restore. Before the job is finished, let me walk you through a little bit. So CloudCasa makes life a lot easier when you need the flexible recovery between different clusters. Could be using different storage class. It can be actually from one cloud to the other cloud, or one OpenShift to another OpenShift. It could be from on-premises to the public cloud, or could be from different Kubernetes distributions. It could be from different versions. Could be running from different availability zones or different region. So on the diagram here, you can see on the left-hand side, I've got a source cluster here. It can be any OpenShift or Kubernetes cluster running 1.xx, and you have all different applications. In my case, I got a PostgreSQL running here. For OpenShift customers, you might be running ODF, OpenShift Data Foundation. Remember, they got the new name of IBM Spectrum Fusion. It can be running all any other CSI driver storage. And the CloudCasa has been installed in a separate namespace. The moment the CloudCasa has been installed into your cluster, it will automatically discover all of your Kubernetes resources, all these objects here. So when we're doing the snapshot, we will take snapshot of all of your application, all of your Kubernetes configurations, all of your data persistent volume snapshots. But it's not that safe. The reason is your snapshot also sitting in the same cluster, same storage. What if the whole cluster is gone? You lose the recover points. So what I normally suggest to my customer is you always make another copy to the external object storage. In this case, CloudCasa does provide the managed storage. That means you don't have to find the S3 or any S3 compatible storage, either on premises or from any public cloud. It does provide the managed storage. You just consume it. Or if you choose to, you do have the option to bring your own storage. It could be from on premises or from any other public cloud. So this is basically how the backup works, how the export make another copy to the external object storage works. So on the left-hand side, you might notice you might run all different Kubernetes distributions. All of these are supported. So now, since my data, my copy, it's already sitting from the either managed storage or bring your own storage. If I want to restore to a separate cluster, the destination cluster could be Kubernetes or OpenShift from any on-premises environment or public cloud. So we do have the options for the supported cloud, mainly the top 3 public cloud, Amazon EKS, Azure AKS, and the Google Kubernetes engine. You don't even need to install the CloudCasa agent. Part of the restore, we allow you to automatically to spin up a new cluster and then kick off the installation of the CloudCasa agent. It's all done automatically before you can restore your containers. In this case, the PostgreSQL. But for any other Kubernetes distribution, you don't have the automation to spin up the new cluster. What you need to do is you need to prepare your new cluster. For this case, OpenShift, you need to install CloudCasa agent to your new cluster. And after the CloudCasa agent installed, you can choose to restore to your new cluster. So it does provide you easy way to move the containers from one cluster to the other. So one of the common use cases, you might want to move to the cloud. You want to move from on-premises to the cloud. It could be running OpenShift on-premises. You want to move to ROSA on AWS, or maybe ROKS on IBM Cloud, ARO on Azure Cloud. It makes life a lot easier. Kubernetes CloudCasa provided the full flexibility or mobility for you to move the containers from on-premise or any other cloud to other Kubernetes distributions. Yeah, that's high level how it works. And not to mention, it does provide you simplified upgrade and maintenance. Your source cluster might be running, let's say 1.20 or 1.22. And your target cluster could be running 1.25. So it allows you to skip the version to upgrade or move the content to the new cluster. So by now, my backup job should finish. Let me come back to the web console to check. Yes. So according to activity log, not only the snapshot has been created, we back up the resources, we discovered 51 objects from your source cluster, and we also have one PVC back it up, we also copy completed. That means not only we take a snapshot, we also make another copy to the managed storage. In this case, I was using managed storage, but you do have the option to choose your own, to bring your own storage. So click overview, you can see actually it is running pretty fast, only 1.5 minutes, just under 1.5 minutes, the snapshot job finished, and also copy to the object storage also finished. Click OK, you can see the job completed successfully. Okay, so now the next task I'm going to show you is I got a successful backup, but I'm going to restore. How to do the restore? So you just click the restore button here. So next to your defined backup ROKS PG snap your copy, I'm going to click restore here. So how to do the restore? You can choose from any one of the restore points. Because I choose to have a snapshot, which is keeping on your storage. In this case, I was using the ODF, but technically you can choose any other CSI driver. And you can choose from the external copy. What if the whole cluster is gone, including the snapshot also gone? The only option is you can choose to restore from the external object storage copy. So I'm going to choose from restore from the external copy. In this case, it was the managed storage from CloudCasa. Click next. Select the resource. What do you want to restore? So for me, all I care is my PostgreSQL namespace. I just select this namespace. And you can also optionally choose the resource type. You can individually say, I just want to recover, somebody deleted the secrets or config maps. I just restore config maps. Or maybe you just want to recover persistent volume claim. So it's up to you. You can selectively choose the individual objects to do the recovery. For my case, I'm going to ignore this one for now. I'm going to restore everything to the new namespace. And I will watch the status. Before I do the restore, I will watch the status, okay? So just to show you, if I come back to the terminal here, if I do OC get namespace Yong, you can only see Yong-PostgreSQL. There is no other namespace starting from a Yong. And I'm going to restore to a new namespace. Click next, your destination. You can choose restore back to your original cluster, or you can choose to restore to a new cluster. That means part of your restore will allow you to create a new cluster. But right now, create a new cluster part of the restore only support Amazon EKS, Azure AKS, or Google Kubernetes engine. So right now, the three are supported. Why AKS is grayed out, but you need to add the cloud account. I already added the cloud account from Google, from Amazon. That's why I can choose Amazon EKS. I can choose GKE, but I did not add a Microsoft Azure cloud account yet. Once you added, the three should be available. So that means you can restore from OpenShift to any other public cloud. In this case, part of the restore will allow you to automatically spin up a new EKS cluster, spin up the new AKS or GKE cluster. For my testing right now, I'm not going to restore OpenShift to other cloud. I'm going to restore to the original OpenShift cluster. But I do have the option to choose to change the storage class. I'm not going to change the storage class right now. I just keep using the same storage class, but I'm going to rename the namespace. So my new namespace, I'm going to call, say, -clone. Okay, you can either add a prefix or the suffix. So I'm going to append the -clone to the new namespace. Click next. Click next. I need to give a restore name. So let's say ROKS PG clone. Well, that's my restore name. Click restore. And once you click the restore, if I do the namespace list again, you will see the new namespace will be created shortly. It's not yet. So if I'm going to watch the status, you can see, yes, my namespace has been created. So now if I get to the port, that my namespace Yong-PostgreSQL -clone, I'm going to watch the status, you can see. So what's going to happen here is CloudCasa IO data mover will be launched to move the data. Once it's launched successfully, it will create your production port. In this case, PostgreSQL 0. Right now, the container is creating. Typically, just take about 30 seconds. The container will be restored to the new namespace. Okay. If I go back to the dashboard, you can also monitor the status. Actually, it has been restored successfully. It took 35 seconds. The restore has been completed successfully. Remember, this restore was restored not from the primary storage. We're restoring from the object storage, which is sitting outside of your cluster. So if you go to the activity log, you can also monitor the details. So right now, the restore job has been completed successfully. It took 35 seconds. Go back to the IBM Cloud shell. You can see our PostgreSQL job. It's running. Just now waiting for the readiness check. So shortly, the readiness check will be passed. It will be showing 1/1. So from the ready column, it will be showing 1/1. And if you don't want to monitor from our OpenShift Web Console, You can monitor from on the workloads, under the ports. So right now, my namespace is selected Yong-PostgreSQL. If you choose to another namespace, Yong-PostgreSQL clone, you can see it is completely up running. 1/1, not only up running, also passed the readiness check. So that means the restore job completed successfully. Excuse me. And what else? Yeah, I'm gonna come back to the slide deck. Yeah, I just highlighted how it works on the high level, how Kubernetes data management can be made easy with CloudCasa, being able to easily to migrate the containers from one cluster, one cloud, or one version to another. And optionally, you also have the option to enable security scans by CloudCasa. So the idea is you can create a security scan job. You can have more visibility into your OpenShift or Kubernetes cluster by the container scan, configuration scan, or benchmark scan, and the process network scan. So basically, to give you more insights, give you more understanding how secure your Kubernetes cluster, your OpenShift cluster. I'm not going to talk too much here right now because today's focus is about how to enable the container backups in about 3 minutes. And if you want to try a little bit more, it's pretty simple. You just create a security scan job for your OpenShift cluster, and shortly you will see a very good dashboard to highlight how many jobs failed, how many jobs actually failed the security checks. And you can click into the details to increase your security postures. So just to summarize, why CloudCasa? So far, I tested multiple Kubernetes data management tools. This is the best I've ever tested. This is the best managed Kubernetes backup as a service. It also comes with managed storage. So some people all love the managed OpenShift, managed Kubernetes. When it comes to the backup, why not choose the managed Kubernetes backup? Okay, and as you can see, it is very simple, very easy to use. It is relatively mature product, and it does support a variety of the Kubernetes distributions like OpenShift, GKE, EKS, AKS, Rancher, VMware Tanzu, etc. And it allows you to easily to migrate the containers between on-premises and also across multiple cloud. And it does provide the advanced restore capabilities, like the granular restore capabilities. You want to restore your individual stack artifacts. It's so simple, so easy. It comes with a built-in multi-cluster management. As you can see from my web console, I also have some other cluster from other cloud listed here, but it's built-in multi-cluster management. You also have the built-in security scan to increase your security of your Kubernetes containers. The last 2 points only applies to the major public cloud, which is Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. It does allow you to automatically discover all of your Kubernetes clusters once you add the public cloud account. So you don't have to register them individually. You just add the cloud account. We're going to automatically discover all of your Kubernetes clusters. And secondly, I talked about earlier, when it comes to DR, you don't have to have a standby DR cluster keeps running 24/7, which will be charged by the cloud providers. So for the top 3 public cloud, part of the restore will automatically spin up a new cluster, either EKS, AKS, or GKE, before we are going to install CloudCasa agent. And after the CloudCasa agent automatically installed, we will automatically start up the restore of your containers. I'm actually very much love the product. I have a long playlist about CloudCasa, how to use CloudCasa on different Kubernetes distributions. On the bottom of the screen, this is a playlist link. Yeah, feel free to try to have a watch. And if you do love automation, I created automation to cover all different Kubernetes distributions. So OpenShift is one of my favorite Azure ARO and Google GKE, Amazon EKS, Azure AKS, and also Alibaba Cloud ACK. Bottom of the screen, this is a playlist. Just to include a few reference links here. So my automation code all available from our GitHub page. And here's the official CloudCasa documentation page. And also Red Hat OpenShift Kubernetes service on IBM Cloud. This is the official link. If you're interested to join me to learn more, here is a Kubernetes user group and also Kubernetes data management group, and plus the group chat, Telegram group chat. Yeah, coming next, I'm interested to record another video about how to secure your containers on OpenShift container platform by the built-in security scans. And I'm also interested to try to record a few videos about how to migrate the containers from either on-premises or from other cloud or other Kubernetes distribution to OpenShift container platform. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. I hope it is useful to you. Feel free to follow me via any one of the links listed here. Thank you. Enjoy your day.